Hello guys, welcome to the first episode of my Blazer Suit Masterclass series. In today's episode, I will be kicking off by showing you how to take accurate body measurements for male blazer suits, which is a fundamental knowledge you need to acquire before even thinking of making a suit. Lest I forget, I have a well-structured and detailed course outline for this free masterclass. For you to have access to the course outline, all you need to do is number 1, like this video, then go straight to the comment section and write course outline. Once you do this, you will be added to my private Telegram group where you can have access to the course outline and other free resources. And also, guys, please encourage me by watching ads on my videos. Please don't skip those ads because that is the only way YouTube reward me for my hard work in making sure I deliver irrelevant and valuable content to you guys. If you guys are ready, I'm also ready to take you on this ride. So let's go. The following measurements are needed in making a male suit, which are the back measurement, that is a measurement taken from one shoulder point to another, the chest circumference, the waist level, the hip level, the suit length, the waist circumference measurement, the neck circumference, the armhole circumference, the wrist circumference, the sleeve length, the bicep height, and the elbow length. All these measurements are what I will be demonstrating in today's video. So now I will start with the back measurement. In taking the back measurement, it has to be taken from one shoulder point to another. When you are making a male suit, you have to take the measurement accurately. It must not be taken with ease. All ease will be added on the pattern. Okay, so I will start with the back measurement. The back measurement is taken from one shoulder point to another. How do you locate the shoulder point? So that is the part where the arm and the body meet. The opening we have around the arm, just trace it upward towards the side. Then I'll place the tip of my measuring tape. If your client is putting on a shirt, so with the help of the joining you have around the armhole, you can locate the center of the shoulder. So make sure you take this measurement accurately. So this is one of the most important measurements needed when making a male suit. Make sure the tip of your measuring tape falls on the shoulder point. Okay, so the best way and the easiest way to locate the shoulder point, as I said earlier, is by tracing the opening that is in between the arm and the body. Trace the opening upward like so, then place the tip of your measuring tape on that point around this side. Then extend your measuring tape. Make sure it passes through the nape of the neck. So extend it to the other side of the shoulder point and make sure you trace the opening upward as well on that point. So here I have 18 inches. The next important measurement I will be showing you is the neck circumference measurement. This measurement is also essential when making a male suit. The measurement is taken by wrapping the measuring tape around the neck. The measurement is not taken like so, not like this. If you take the measurement like this, it will be too tight. Okay, so it has to fall on the base of the neck. If your client is putting on a shirt, you can just take a permission to open up the button so that you can know where the base of the neck falls. So where you have the bone around here is the base of the neck. So you wrap the measuring tape to fall on that point, rather. Okay, you can see I have my finger in between the measuring tape. So a finger in between your measuring tape is a guide for you in order to take the measurement. Okay, so here I have 15 inches. So the next measurement I'll be showing you is the waist circumference measurement. In taking the waist circumference measurement, it is wrong in taking your measurements like so on the upper arm. Though it is not wrong, but it might not be accurate. The measuring tape has to pass it through under the arms. Okay, so when taking this measurement, you ask your client to raise his arm a little. You can see the way he's raising his arm, and let the measuring tape comes from the back. It passes through the armpit and to the fullest parts of the chest. So, and here when you are taking the chest measurement, it has to be taken loosely. Okay, for male figure, it has to be loose. So I will be showing you a secret which will be a guide for you in taking the chest circumference measurement. What I do is I use my middle finger. That is the tallest finger I have on my hand. So the middle finger is what I'll be using in touching the center of the chest. Okay, so I will be adjusting my measuring tape until my middle finger touches the center of the chest. You can see what I'm having. Once the middle finger touches the center of the chest, so which means the measurement is taken accurately. Okay, the next measurement I will be showing you is the waist measurement. The waist measurement point is needed and the waist circumference measurement is needed. The waist measurement point is taken vertically, while the waist circumference measurement is taken horizontally. In taking this measurement, I will place the tip of measuring tape on the corner of the neck. Here is the corner of the neck, like so. Then I will make sure it passes through the fullest part of the chest. Okay. Then this has to stop before the navel. Please take note of this. The waist point when we are making trousers is different from waist point when we are making a native wear. Waist point when you are making a corporate shirt is different from waist point when you are making a suit. Okay, so the waist point when you are making a suit has to be above the navel. So here is the tummy. Tummy is different from the waist measurement. So here is the navel. So it can be 2 inches above the navel. Okay, so here I have 17 for his waist measurement. That is the waist point. Then on that point, I will be taking the circumference measurement. So when taking this measurement, all you need is your 2 fingers. Your index finger and your middle finger. Let the 2 fingers be in between the measuring tape. Once the measuring tape can accommodate your 2 fingers, it means your measurement is taken accurately. You can see what I have for the measuring tape. You can see it is moving up and down. So make sure you move the measuring tape up and down. Can you see what I'm doing? Okay, I'm moving it up and down. So, and for him, I will use 31 as the waist circumference measurement. The next measurement I will be showing you is the hip measurement. That is the hip length and the hip circumference. Hip length is taken vertically, while the hip circumference is taken horizontally, just the way I took the measurement of the waist. Okay, I will place the tip of my measuring tape on the corner of the neck, like so. Then I will extend this. Make sure your measuring tape passes through the fullest part of the chest. This is very important. Okay, so I'll be taking this downward. When I get to the waist point, I will leave the measuring tape on the nape of the neck. Then I will hold it at the waist point, then extend it to the fullest part of the hip. Okay, so the fullest part of the hip falls at the center of the buttocks. So by the time I trace this, to the side, backward, it has to fall at the center of the buttocks. So here I have 26 inches for his hip level. Then on the point, I will be taking the hip circumference measurement. The measurement is taken like so. I will wrap the measuring tape around the fullest part of the hip. That is the exact point where I took the hip level measurement. And I will make sure I move the measuring tape up and down like so. Okay, it has to stay firm on that area, and I will have my finger in between the measuring tape for a guide. So with this, I've taken the hip circumference measurement. Another way of taking this measurement is by taking it from the back. Okay, so I'll be placing the measuring tape on the nape of the neck, that is the bone at the back of the neck, like so, and it has to pass through the center of the back, downward. So here is the waist, this is the waist point, then I will extend it downward like so until it gets to the center of the buttocks. So the center of the buttocks is the hip level. Okay, so until it gets to the fullest part of the hip. So that is the center of the buttocks. So once you get to the center of the buttocks, just trace it to the side and make sure it falls at the fullest part of the hip. So that is the hip level measurement. The amount of the ease we'll be adding has to do with the type of style we are making, because we have different styles for suit making. Okay, if you are making use of a single vein, the amount of ease you will be adding is different from when you are making use of a double vein. Okay, so this has to do with the style of suit we are making. Just make sure you take your measurements accurately, and every other justice will be done on the pattern. The next measurement I will be showing you is the suit length measurement. We have 3 sizes for the suit length measurement. It can be standard measurement, it can be short, and it can be long. This depends on your preference. Okay, so in taking the length of the suit, the measurement is taken from the corner of the neck, that is the side of the neck. Then I will lay the tip of my measuring tape on that point. Then make sure your clenched arms is by side like so, because the hand is going to be the guide for us. The suit length measurement is in 3 sizes: the long, the short, and the standard. Okay, so then I will make sure the measuring tape passes through the fullest part of the chest. I will extend it downward like so. So when I get to the waist point, I will leave the tip of my measuring tape on the corner of the neck. Then I will hold it like so, then extend it downward to the suit length measurement. We have standard, we have short, and we have long for the length of the suit. This depends on your preference. For the standard measurement for the suit length, this usually falls on the thumb. That is the point where the thumb starts. You can see what I'm having here. Here is a thumb, this is a thumb, this is the finger on the thumb, this is the bone of the thumb, that is where the bone thumb. So that is where the thumb starts. So that point is where the standard suit length stops. Here I have 28 inches for him. Then for the long, it has to be below that point, exactly on the nail I have on the thumb. Okay, here I have 31 inches. It is between 30.5 and 31 inches for him. Then for the short, it has to be above the standard. Don't forget, this is the standard point where the thumb starts. Above the standard is going to be above this point, so which I'm using exactly the wrist point. Here is the wrist. If I trace this forward like so, I have 26 inches. If you want his suit to be short, I will use 26 inches for the length. If you want standard, it's 28 inches. If you want long, I will use between 30.5 and 31 inches for him. When taking measurement for the suit length, you have to be very careful. I mean very careful. And also, you should know exactly what you want to do. Your suit length can be long, it can be short, and it can be 3/4. But for the conventional suit, it is usually a long sleeve. So when taking this measurement, you have to be very careful. So pay a closer attention to what I'm about to show you right now. In making a suit sleeve, you need the armhole circumference measurement. This is very important. You need the bicep height measurements, bicep height, the bicep circumference, you need the elbow length, you need the wrist circumference, and you need the length of the sleeve itself. Now, The armhole circumference measurement and the bicep circumference measurement are serving the same purposes, okay? So which means they do the same thing. So you can use either of the two, but not the two at the same time. But it is good you learn how to take the two measurements, and you will know when and how it is needed to use either of the two, so which I will be demonstrating right now. I will start with the armhole circumference measurement. In taking the armhole circumference measurement, I will be wrapping the measuring tape around the armpit, like so. It comes from the armpit and stops on the center of the shoulder. And make sure you have your finger, your index finger, in between the measuring tape. Your index finger in between the measuring tape. Okay, your measuring tape must be able to accommodate one of your fingers, most especially the index finger. So with this, your measurement is accurate. Here I have 19 inches for his armhole. Okay, so now I will be taking the bicep height and the bicep circumference measurements. Bicep height is different from bicep circumference. We have waist length and we have waist circumference, so the same rule is applied. When you take the bicep height measurement, at the same point where your bicep height falls, you take the circumference of the bicep as well. Okay, bicep measurement is needed when you are making a two-piece sleeve. It can be called a two-piece sleeve or tailor sleeve or suit sleeve. This sleeve is what is meant to be on suit. You don't apply a basic sleeve on a suit. So the way a suit sleeve is drafted is totally different from the way a basic sleeve is drafted. If you don't know the difference between the two, I have videos on the two sleeves. I have video on a basic sleeve pattern and I have video on a two-piece sleeve pattern, or suit sleeve or tailor sleeve. They all mean the same. I will be leaving the links to the videos in the description area, so watch those two videos so you will get to learn the difference between the two sleeves, how to draft a basic sleeve and how to draft a tailored sleeve. A tailored sleeve is the same thing as two-piece sleeve. Two-piece sleeve is the same thing as suit or jacket sleeve. Okay, so now in taking the bicep height measurement, this measurement is a little bit technical in taking. Why is it technical? It might be a little bit difficult to get the exact point where the bicep height falls, but don't worry, that is not a problem because I have a formula for that. When we get to the drafting part of this tutorial, which is how to draft a male suit pattern, I will be showing you the formula we can use in deriving the bicep height measurement. This formula works perfectly for all sizes. So I'll be skipping the step of taking the bicep height measurement and I will move to the bicep circumference measurement. Now, the bicep height usually falls on the fullest part of the arm. After the armhole point, this is the armhole. So when you trace the arm downward, okay, so let me say somewhere where there is muscle around here, that's the fullest part of the arm. So that is where the bicep height falls. Where the fullest part starts is the bicep height. So let's assume, I'm just assuming this is bicep height point. So on that point, I will be taking the circumference measurement. Okay, you can see the way I took the measurement. It has to be taken accurately. I have my finger in between the measuring tape, not tighten the measuring tape around the arm like so. No, it has to be a little bit free, and the measuring tape should not be falling off on the arm. The measuring tape must not be falling off on the arm. If I take the measurement like so, you can see the measuring tape is falling off. So I will adjust it. Here I have 12 inches. So this is what I have for the bicep circumference measurement. So after taking the bicep circumference measurement, then we need the elbow point measurement. If you are drafting pattern for a short two-piece sleeve, you don't need this measurement. Elbow point measurement is not needed. Okay, but for a long sleeve, you need to take the measurement of the elbow. and I'll also give you the standard measurements you can use in deriving the elbow point on your pattern when we get to the drafting part of this tutorial. So make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you won't miss any part of this tutorial. So when taking the elbow measurement, the arm must not be beside your client. Make sure he raises his arm a little. You can see what I'm having, like so, not much. Bent. Then I will lay the tip of my measuring tape on the center of the shoulder. Don't forget, I showed you where the center of the shoulder falls. So that is the space in between the arm and the body. Trace it upward. So that is the center of the shoulder. Then the measuring tape has to pass through the side of the arm, like so. Then on the elbow, so that is the point that goes inward. There's a point that goes inward on the elbow point. So that is where you stop taking the measurement. So that is the elbow point measurement for him. Here I have 13.5 inches. Then I will leave the tip of my measuring tape, then hold my measuring tape on the elbow point, then I will extend it downward to take the length of the sleeve. So please, you have to take note of this. When you are taking this measurement, it must not be too long. This is because the sleeve of the shirt has to be showing underneath the sleeve of the suit. Don't forget, it is usually a three-piece suit: the trouser, the shirt, and the jacket, and in most cases with waistcoat. So that is optional. Okay, so the length of the suit, the length of the jacket must not be longer than the length of the shirt. So because of this, I will be stopping the measurement exactly on the bone on the wrist. Okay, if I'm taking this measurement for shirt, it has to be below the bone. It will be below the bone, but in this case I will stop exactly on the bone point, which is 23.5 inches. So the last but not the least measurement I will be showing you is the wrist measurement. This measurement has to be taken carefully as well. Okay, here I have 8 inches for the wrist. This measurement can be taken in two ways. You can either take the measurements accurately like so, or take it with ease. If you are not sure of the value to add as ease, I will advise you to take the measurement with ease, because this aspect is very important on suit making. Okay, if the measurement is not gotten right, it will be difficult to put on the suit and it will be difficult to put it off. You can see that is a very big issue. So what you can do in order to avoid this issue is to take the measurement in such a way the measuring tape will be able to come out of your client's hand. As you all know, we have different sizes of ends. So because of this, you have to take your time and be sure of how you take this measurement. Okay, so you can take the measurement in such a way you'll be able to bring out the measuring tape, either not loosely, anyway, not to be too loose, but even with force, the client should be able to bring out his hand out of the measuring tape. So if you have it like so, so with this, after constructing your suit, you will not have any issue. Or better still, take the measurement accurately, then add ease to it. You can add ease of 2 inches, but you know this is a standard measurement. The 2 inches might be too wide for some clients, and for other clients it might be too tight. Okay, so instead of that, the recommended one is take the measurements in such a way you will be able to bring out the measuring tape from the client's hand. So guys, that will be all on how to take measurement for a male suit. Let's meet in the next episode of this video, where we'll be starting this series fully. See you next time, and always do remember, there is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs.